All right, here we go.
It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears Up!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ears Up Podcast. We are back on the air, and we're going to be talking kind of a lot of stuff today. I'm excited about it. We got a big, fat news segment. We have what's Erik drinking again, or Erik's drinking again, or something like that, which is very funny because eating. That's right, eating. I'm projecting on you. This is, whatever. Erik's eating again. We have a Who Dat segment with Taren, and it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a chill show. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk. We're gonna BS, and it's gonna be a good time. So welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Today is a very, very special day.
Oh, yeah, it's Ryan and Lisa's anniversary, right? Good job, guys. Yay.
Hooray.
It's also someone else's anniversary.
Erik, you and Brandy have an anniversary today?
I think it might be yours. I don't know.
It is.
We don't have an anniversary.
What?
That's in June.
Well, we don't celebrate it.
Mine's in June. Did you take over my anniversary?
I took over your life, brother. Yeah, it's our anniversary, Taren. Good job. Congratulations.
Yeah, we got married 9 years ago. By the way, so we do gifts for each other that are like the traditional gifts every year. So it's like, pottery or like wicker or like just
paper.
Weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Uno one year because it was paper. I remember that.
I don't.
So
is that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So next year, I forget for the 10th year, I was like, oh, it must be something big. And I looked it up and it was like
divorce papers.
It was not something big. It was like, I forget what it was, but it was like cotton or something. And I was like, and so whenever I look this up, I look at the traditional and then I look at the modern, and the modern is diamond jewelry. And I was like, we're going to go modern next year.
Bro, stop it. First of all, you're just buying it for yourself because you make money. I don't
care.
All right,
16 was wax, so I think that diamond should come after wax.
It comes back around. It does come back around.
Good.
Yeah, 10th anniversary is tin or aluminum.
Tin. What? We're gonna buy each other cupcakes.
That's right.
Canned goods.
Because I got drinking glasses that had the chemical symbols for tin and aluminum that year from somebody.
Yeah, modern diamond jewelry, and the metal or gemstone is diamond. So there you go. There's that.
Yeah. So looking forward to next year.
Well, and then it's 10th, and then there's nothing until the 15th. Then it's just every 5 years.
You're looking at the wrong list.
I'm on brides.com.
Okay, well that's the wrong place to look. There's one every year, right, Erik?
Brides.gov. This is a federal list.
Oh yeah, it's mandatory. Let me tell you, mandatory. Doesn't matter what political party enters office next. It's going to be mandatory. Mandatory gifts, big or small, I don't care. Doesn't matter.
It's the only bipartisan thing we agree on is the list of gifts.
Anyway, everybody. Well, let's see. Before we get into anything else for the show, if you're planning a trip to the parks, apparently Terrence and Bev together are in Walt Disney World right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I challenged them to call in and explain why nobody knew this sooner. But apparently they're vacationing together, and it's Terrence's first trip to Disney World, and that's fantastic.
Oh, ever? Well, that's exciting.
Apparently, yeah. So that's great.
Well, and I don't know if you all remember.
Hold on. So I'm in the middle of a spiel.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a bit.
He's getting us paid.
Yeah. So hopefully, they used the best service in the world for traveling is Concierge. You can go to concierge.com. Plan your trip through them, which basically is a dumb way of saying have them plan your trip for you. And what I mean by that is obviously you give them the dates and you say what you want to do. So you give them parameters. You say this is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm looking forward to. And then they'll figure everything else out. They'll figure the timing, where you're going to stay, and they'll clear it with you too. It's not just like a mystery box where you're like, well, we booked you a hotel, but we're not going to tell you where. You get to approve everything. And that's great. When you want to sign up for like concierge level or whatever, you can do that too. But do all that stuff through concierge. They will book it, and they will also monitor prices for you, especially with the hotels, where if the price lowers for whatever reason, if the hotel has a discount, because I know some people don't want to book too far in advance because they're concerned about a price change, or what if prices drop due to demand or whatever. Concierge will monitor that for you, and they will book the new room or the room at the new rate, and then they'll refund you the difference, which is cool. Not everybody would do that. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes at Concierge. So they will book everything for you. They'll take care of everything for you. You have nothing to worry about with them. Check them out. They are our official travel partner. We love them. And I know Taren and I personally are excited to use them one day. We tried in January, but we couldn't swing it going to the park. So hopefully when we get back to the parks, we'll experience the Concierge difference.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I swear this time I'll try to stay in a different room. I know that's what scuttled it last time.
Well, yeah, there's just not enough room in the single bed.
Yeah,
for
I
three
mean,
people.
you could have put me in the pack and play. I'm just saying.
Well, look, that's where I sleep. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's not enough room, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time.
And then also, if you're looking for a brand new show to watch or listen to, you go check out Buena Vista Boys. It's burning up the charts, you guys. Everyone's loving it. We're in double digits, and I love life. I'm just kidding. It's a great show. It's a fun show. I think we just released episode three. Well, the fourth was the trailer, but yeah, that's why I get confused. But 3, Hot Lead, Cold Feet, which is a great Disney movie. We are going to be recording the 4th episode, which will be the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. And I think we're going to do that on Twitch on Saturday. So if you're listening live and you want to join us for that.
Oh, you're going to do it live?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? I mean, it's a show that I don't put video on, but it is on YouTube podcasts or whatever, which is, just like a static image of the episode artwork, and that's it. But yeah, I think we'll do it live on Twitch because why not?
Cool.
I don't know. Who cares, right? Yeah, we'll be here hanging out anyways. Might as well just turn on the cameras and let everyone see it, see how we do it, see how we do things.
Love it.
But it's a good time, man. The movie's weird. Computer Wore Tennis Shoes is a weird movie, and I don't know if anybody has seen it recently at all, but whoa, man, it is a whopper. It's weird. It is. Cesar Romero is in it. Played the Joker in the Batman TV series, and I think there's a few nods to that as well in this show. In the movie, it's just very odd, man.
You can't resist.
No, well, I think it's like he has like a secret door, right, to an underground lair, and it's like, okay. Or there's one point, I guess I don't want to ruin anything, but whatever. There's one point they're like painting the house, and it's green and orange, but it's that bright green and bright orange, like was all over his costumes and stuff like that in the TV show. And at one point, Kurt Russell is going to Gotham, and it's like these kinds of things are like, that they're just packing it in there because of this man. That's great. It's cool, and that kind of stuff is fun. But yeah, so we're gonna be recording that too. So if you're not gonna catch it live, we'll probably release that in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be cool, man. It's a good show. I'm having a good time with it with friend Matt, and it's a blast. So definitely pick it up wherever you can find amazing podcasts, please. Only amazing podcasts.
Only amazing ones.
Yeah.
There's a service for that, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, man. All right, Eric. Is this it? Is this it?
Oh.
Nope.
Sounds like I'm eating something again.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Eric, what are you eating again, brother?
It's been a while. There is a restaurant well known to this podcast. It's a place within a place within a place. Imagine, if you will, a theme park with a rendition of old-timey Hollywood. Within that rendition is a facsimile of a theater. Within that theater, some pretty good food and drinks. Yes, the Carthay Circle Restaurant and Lounge are magical places. Thanks to this podcast, it was at the top of my list when I first visited Disneyland. The Carthay Manhattan became my own signature drink for quite some time, and my wife and I and our friends have enjoyed both the lounge and the restaurant itself on multiple occasions. But it's been a long time since I last visited. I don't think I've been there since that pandemic started,
Yeah. Thank you for not saying, after COVID, please.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Appreciate
but it's over. it's over.
That's right. Well, according to the government, it's over. Yeah, but
Right.
yeah.
Get your vaccines, folks.
Yeah, I know.
On my last, I know plenty of people that have had it pretty recently.
Same.
Yeah. There you go. On my last trip in June, I decided it was high time I make another trip to this place. The process is different now, where you used to stand in a long line out front to get into the lounge. You don't do that anymore. The main dining room is also open again. For a long time, you could only eat al fresco, which meant on the porch outside. So you can make reservations like usual for dinner. But really, if you want to get that lounge flair, you've got to go in and do a virtual reservation. So the restaurant is open during lunchtime and dinner. The lounge is open the same times. But yeah, you're not waiting in that long line. You can join a virtual queue if you are standing nearby in the park. So if you're in Disneyland, you can't join the virtual queue. You need to go into DCA. You need to get relatively close. I don't know where that line is. And then join that virtual queue. And then you can kind of wander the park and it'll tell you how long you have to wait.
Virtual queue is a good idea for that.
It's not bad,
great.
really.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, Taren, maybe you can correct me, but I don't feel like the line to get in was ever too long.
No, there was one time where it was on the hairy edge of you leaving.
Yeah, but that could have been 5 minutes.
I know.
Yeah, I'm very impatient.
It was
with
never
lines.
that. It wasn't too long.
Yeah, especially when it opened. And then I think as they dialed everything in and they wanted more room for people who had dinner reservations to come in first to drink, and then they kind of like cleaved that and changed it around a little bit, then it became like, oh my God, dude, whatever. But yeah, virtual queue, I like it. I like the use of the technology.
Yeah, you're not standing in front of a white painted building in the California sun.
Yeah. No.
And just wishing that you were going into 1901.
Right. Oh my God. 1901 Club, bro. I
haven't done that one yet.
It's cool. So for those of you who don't know, 1901 is like, it's one of the perks you get if you're a certain tier of Club 33 member. And, it's done very well. It's like Carthay, but on steroids a little bit. There's some really cool photos of Walt and whatever. And there we went, we were very, very blessed and lucky enough to get to go. And there was nobody in there. The bartender was like a welcoming. He's like, oh my God, thank you. Please. But it felt like it because there's nobody in there. You don't talk to anybody. There's nobody in there.
And they let you walk around. And I remember very specifically this leather chair that was, to this day, the single most comfortable chair I have ever sat in.
The comfy chair. Yeah.
Oh,
well, there you go.
Such a nice chair.
Anyway, Eric, go ahead, please.
I'll have to add that to the list next time I find somebody who's willing to sponsor me to get in there, because Lord knows I'm not in that tax bracket.
Yeah, same, dude.
Yeah. Well, this time around, I think I waited about 15 minutes and I got to get into the lounge, and I sat at the bar, and I haven't sat at the bar itself in a while.
Yeah, that's a cool.
It's fun.
I can get with the bar, a little bar sitting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was down at the end.
And it used to be that where like if you wanted to try to sit at the bar in the bar area, you didn't have to wait in line or something like that. But you needed to wait in line if you wanted to sit in the chair. Am I remembering?
Or you just kind of lingered and waited for somebody to move?
I think the actual bar, if something opened up, you could go there. But I don't know if. I feel like that's a misremember maybe.
Okay, that might have come and gone at different times. Because there have been some pretty lax times where they're like, yeah, just go and find a spot.
Yeah, they were trying to figure things out for a while.
Maybe I'm a liar, is what Taren's saying.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, sitting at the bar, the last time I sat there was technically it was at the bar, but it was at one of the high tops next to the bar. But one of my favorite memories there was with my wife and I, late night before a half marathon. Like we were closing out DCA the night before a half marathon. We had to be up in like 3 hours.
Yeah, smart.
Wow.
And the server was very impressed that we were out drinking a few hours before the race.
Yeah, I don't know if impressed is the right word, but
what are you guys doing?
Right. Well, you know what? It turned out okay because I woke up and completed that race very, very well, and my wife stayed in bed.
Well. Oh, she didn't make it?
She did not get out of bed. It had nothing to do with the drinks. It had more to do with her not wanting to get up at 3 a.m. to go stand in line for 2 hours to go run.
No, that had nothing to do with the drinks. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it really didn't, because that became a habit after the fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, Brandy was never happier with a decision like that. Yeah, she never looked back. Anyway, this time I wanted a fancy lunch. And this was toward the end of several days in the parks. I was there with the concierge crew. We had done a training there for a few days. I had done some tours. We'll talk about the VIP tour at some point someday, because that was on that same trip. But yeah, I really just wanted to sit around and not do much on this day in the parks. I just wanted to be in a dimly lit place for a little while.
Yeah, I get that.
And I got in. It was fine. Sat at the bar, chatted with the bartender for a little bit. His name was Jeremy, which
oh, sure.
Sticks with me.
Yeah.
I asked for his recommendations because I hadn't been there for a while. And I hadn't been drinking a whole lot at that point, but I couldn't pass up the chance to have a legendary Carthay Manhattan again, because it had also been a while. And yeah, that is available still. The bar menu has changed significantly. They no longer have that chunk that's the same drinks that they have at every place that has drinks.
Okay.
Now it's pretty much all signature drinks, but they separate it out into kind of different areas on the menu. So it design-wise, the menu looks different and interesting. Cocktails are now basics, the Golden Age, curtain call, and an ensemble cast.
Oh my God! Enough with the.
Whatever.
Those are the sections, right?
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
But I think it's funny. Like it's like theater, but the Carthay Theater, wasn't it a movie theater?
It was, yeah.
So it just kind of seems like it's weird,
Yeah, it's not an ensemble cast. I guess it still is an ensemble cast.
Yeah, but
you're just watching.
It's more like stage theater. That's what it brings about. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, the Carthay Manhattan is not in the basics. It's much more sophisticated.
Of course.
It is within the Golden Age menu quadrant. Jason, how much is a Carthay Manhattan in June of 2024?
You're about to ruin things.
Yeah, don't ask me.
No.
In 2024, it can't be south of $18. It's got to be over $18.
You're correct in that assessment.
How much is it? $19.50?
22.
In June, it was $20.50.
No.
But last Thursday during the Oogie Boogie Bash, and I assume still today during an Oogie Boogie Bash, it's a cool $22.
Wow.
Bullet Rye, Carpano Antica Sweet Vermouth, Angostura Bitters, 3 Luxardo Cherries, and nice sphere from, they make this clear, locally sourced, purified water. It's local water. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
it's not foreign.
Sourced. No. Purified, so it's tap water. What
are you looking up?
I did get an Arnold Palmer after that, which is called a twin bill, and that was $6.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
So it's $20.
22.
22. Well, but 20 normally is what he's saying, right? You can buy a $7.50 bottle of Bullet Rye for $20 at Total Wine. So for the cost of the drink, you can buy an entire bottle of that stuff.
I mean, the vermouth is a little pricier than that Bullet, probably at this point. Carpano Antica?
Carpano Antica. Let's see.
He's checking.
That is $19.99.
Oh, okay.
For a standard bottle. I don't know what a standard size of that is. What is that? I'm gonna grind this show to a halt. 375 ml.
Oh, that's a tiny bottle.
Yeah. So
okay, so it is pricey.
Yeah. So $35 for like a regular size bottle. Okay. So you can do that. You can buy 2 drinks, and basically you could have just bought 2 bottles of the ingredients and make it yourself.
There you go.
Which is, I mean, you can say that about anything, but like
sure.
that is too much money. Wasn't it $14 when we started going?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 15 when you started complaining about it.
Well, look, that's probably true.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Bullet is not that high grade of a whiskey. It's really not. It's like, it's not bottom of the shelf, but it's not top shelf either. It's like a decent mid-range.
It's a workhorse.
Yeah, it's fine. It's nothing. It shouldn't be a drink with Bullet should not be $20. It just shouldn't. There's nothing. Go ahead.
I'm willing to bet Oogie Boogie Bash is what kicked it up into 22, but in June there was no excuse. It was over $20. Yeah. Moving on, the lunch menu had a lot to offer, and I wasn't sure what to get. There are a lot of different options there: ratatouille, spring rolls, chicken meatballs, bao buns. I asked my pal Jeremy, the bartender, what he recommended for a lighter midday snack. He recommended the filet mignon skewers with stewed beans. And when I finished the whole thing, I'm like, oh, that was a little thicker than I thought it would be. And he said, oh, yeah, most people don't eat the beans. They just leave the beans.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay. They just come in and have a pile of meat and then leave. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the filet was excellent. The beans were a little crunchy. It was fine. The ratatouille, I should mention, has I don't know how to pronounce this, Le Delice de Bourgogne cloud. I don't want to look up what that means.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah,
French and fancy.
Yeah.
It's French and fancy, and it's a cloud on top of your ratatouille.
All right.
Okay.
For really, I was pretty much fine after that point, but I couldn't resist looking at the dessert menu. I'm not huge on desserts. But since I cut back on drinking, my body really wants some empty calories at the end of a meal.
Yeah, I feel
that. So I took a look. There's an ice cream sundae, which is fine. A cheese board, which is probably way too much food. And so I went for the Mickey Hazelnut Crunch, which was probably the best dessert I have ever eaten in the parks.
Wow.
Hazelnut Crunch. What is that?
It was a little ball of vanilla ice cream coated in a hazelnut glaze with bits of hazelnut in it, and 2 dark chocolate ears on top to make it look like Mickey. And then there's a giant spike run through the middle to make it look like a cake pop, an upside down cake pop. It does help you stabilize the treat while you cut it.
Okay. The knife through Mickey's head seems a little strange.
Well, it's a wooden spike, like a stick.
Yeah, that's
so you could just pick it up and eat it off the stick like a cake pop or a popsicle,
Okay,
but it would be difficult because it's a big ball of ice cream covered in stuff.
All right, that's cute.
Cool.
So
And it was the
I used
best
a fork
thing you've
and
ever
knife.
eaten.
It was fantastic. It was sweet, but not like just sugar.
Yeah.
It was a perfect size of dessert for one person. It was $10, but it's Carthay. I paid $22 for
Yeah,
Manhattan.
at that point,
Yeah.
who cares?
I had that and a cup of coffee. My entire afternoon was great. I was like floating through the park. I'm like, oh man, that was really good. That was a really good lunch.
That's awesome.
How much did it cost you?
Oh, I didn't
was your
add
total?
all of that up, but I guess
Rough estimate.
oh gosh, probably 80 before or after tip. I don't know. Yeah.
All
It's
right.
a lot for a lunch for one person.
Yeah.
But I did have a drink, one alcoholic drink, another non-alcoholic drink, food, and a dessert.
I'm not going to say it's not a lot because it is. That's a lot of money. But any person who DoorDashes anything,
Yeah.
Oh
Same.
gosh, yeah.
it's the same. I mean, it just eating things that you don't make yourself are really expensive.
Yeah.
Even the things that you make yourself are expensive, but eating things that somebody else is making you, insanely expensive.
It's true.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, $20 for a Manhattan, too much. But at the end of the day, it's only $6 more than what you were paying before. So
I don't know.
I'm
Hey,
just
there you
saying.
go.
I'm
That's
just-
the right spirit.
Principle over pounds,
I'm
man.
just
I don't know. For me, it's the principle of the thing.
Well, at the end of that meal, it was a delight to emerge from the dim confines of the Carthay Circle Lounge back into the harsh California sun. I know I had a great day after that, but yeah, it was great to be back in the confines of Carthay Circle and surrounded by all those old pictures of Walt and everybody else. And it was another place in time, taking you back to the 30s and also taking you back to all the other times you've been to Carthay. It was nice to go back in there, and it definitely holds up. It's expensive, but it's always been expensive. So
That's
I guess
true. It has
kind of what
always-
I'm going for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you have a really good point. Even though like it's kind of like recent nostalgia, there's a nostalgic aspect to Carthay. For me especially. I mean,
Yeah.
so many memories have been made at Carthay Lounge, even though it's not terribly old. But like just throughout this show and meeting listeners and having a glass of champagne after we got engaged, like a lot of fun times have happened there. So I do think there's an aspect of like nostalgia that will bring me back, even if the prices make Jason mad.
Yeah, well, look, they definitely do that. That's for sure, man. But what doesn't? There's not a whole lot in this world that doesn't make me mad.
Fair.
So you might as well just pile on the thing that we talk about.
There
There you go. And to the savvy listener, the entire reason I wanted to do this segment after eating there is because I knew it would make Jason mad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look, man, it did its thing. All right, well, very good, Eric. I'm
There we
glad you
go.
had a good time, man. Would you do it again, going solo to Carthay? Having a nice
Absolutely.
$80 lunch, yeah?
On the right day, if I've been like, this was a long trip. It was definitely time for a longer sit down meal
Nice.
instead of running around and okay, let's cram another corn dog and keep going. This was I will spend money to sit in a place. I probably drank like 5 glasses of water while I was there
Sure.
too.
Oh,
you
man,
know,
dude.
Well, because you just kind of want to sit there. Like I did one solo trip to Disneyland, and it was only for like a couple hours because Jason was at a conference, BlizzCon.
That's right. I'm an extreme gamer, you guys.
And
Whoa.
so I had a few hours by myself at the park, and I didn't know what to do. Like I'm not very good at making decisions, even when I'm by myself. But the one thing I could decide on was going to Carthay, and I did the same as you. I sat at the bar, and I remember getting a Bloody Mary. Like it was like a fun time. Like if you're solo at Disneyland, like that's the place to go. What can I say?
all right.
Very good. All right, Taren, I don't have your theme music loaded.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have it, so I apologize. But maybe I can cobble something together. Hold on a second.
Did it get lost? Is it
Here,
gone
how about
forever?
this?
Crew chief to pilot, the hatches officer. As soon as you find out, let me know. How is he? He's alive!
All right, Taren. Who dat?
I don't know
Okay.
who that was.
That's all right.
But today I'm going to talk a little bit about, which is funny, I'm going to talk about Scuttle. And the reason that's funny is because earlier, Erik said the word Scuttle. And I was like, whoever uses that word? And to use it
Pirates,
on the
I
same
think.
day that I am talking about Scuttle, I thought was very interesting.
Oh, man, it must be angel numbers.
I don't know what that means.
Oh,
But
all right.
so have you guys, I don't know if anyone here peruses Reddit, but that's what I do at night before bed.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the subreddit, like, what is this thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's just a subreddit. It's a subreddit that basically somebody will post a picture of something. Usually it's something gross in their house. And they're like, does anybody know what this bug is? And then, or does anybody know what this stain is? And it's always bug poop. Like it's always
Okay.
bug poop.
Yeah,
But
all
anyway,
right.
like some people will find like an old antique and they'll be like, what is this? Like, does anybody know what year this is from? Like just stuff like that.
Okay.
It's for people to help each other out. Well, Scuttle is kind of like the modern day version of that. So in The Little Mermaid, anytime Ariel finds an object under the sea and has no idea what it is, but she kind of knows it's a unique object, something from humans, she swims up to the surface to ask her seagull friend, Scuttle. Now, Scuttle is very confident and very loud, and he will happily inspect an object and let Ariel know what it is and what it's used for. Now, whether he's correct is another story, but then again, who's going to question him, especially when he's a self-proclaimed expert on human things? Now, Scuttle lives off the coast of where Prince Erik lives, and he was born as Scuttlebutt. But, as the Scuttle puts it, it was changed for obvious reasons. He did not want the butt in his name, so he's Scuttle. His numerous encounters with humans throughout his life, most of which have been accidental and accident-prone, led him to believe that he himself was an expert on human culture. And when Ariel first met Scuttle, she actually wasn't a big fan. His kind of manic personality isn't really for everyone, but after Scuttle proved himself by saving Sebastian from a band of pirates, he and Ariel developed a strong friendship, which is quite nice. Now, Scuttle is the only one of Ariel's friends capable of flight, and as such is a very useful character in times of crisis. Sorry, hang on.
You all right, bud?
I got a real scratchy throat. It's not COVID. I've taken 4 tests. I just have really bad allergies right now. So I apologize. Okay. Scuttle is the only one of Ariel's friends capable of flight, and as such is very useful in times of crisis. Now, Scuttle implies that he has the ability to communicate with humans and is thus the expert of them, though we, as humans, find out quickly that he actually knows very little. In spite of this, Scuttle does have some knowledge of humans that most of the sea creatures don't, and this makes him their only source of human information, so in that respect, I guess he is the expert. Now, why is Scuttle interesting? What's interesting to me about Scuttle is that he actually does not appear in the original Hans Christian Andersen version of the story of The Little Mermaid. And this is odd, since even though he is only a supporting character with fantastic comedic timing in this Disney version, he's, in my humble opinion, the actual true hero of The Little Mermaid.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go.
Now, King Triton may be tough and magical, and Sebastian may be Ariel's protector, but if it weren't for Scuttle, Ariel's only flying friend, Ariel would never have found out that Vanessa, who Prince Erik was about to marry, was actually Ursula wearing the necklace with Ariel's voice. He also, Scuttle, being the he, also steals that necklace from Vanessa/Ursula, exposing her to the rest of the cast. So without Scuttle, Ursula would have totally won. Now, also, just as a side note, what's interesting about Scuttle is that in the live-action version of The Little Mermaid, Scuttle is actually portrayed as a female and is a gannet.
Woke hive mind, woke virus. The woke mind hive virus. Woke mind virus.
Making up new birds.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Pause.
We're pausing,
I gotta
everybody.
make sure I wrote that right. Okay, it is gannet. Okay.
All right.
I've never heard of a gannet. So.
Me either. It looks like a seagull.
Gannet be real?
Oh.
So in the live action version, Scuttle is a gannet. He is not she. Excuse me.
Wow, how dare
My
you.
apologies.
In this day and age.
She is not a seagull, and this allows her to actually dive into the water, giving her a little bit more of a, character. I mean, granted,
Okay.
I haven't seen this movie, but...
Seagulls don't dive in the water?
No. They peck at the water if they see a fish, but they don't dive in the water.
Really? All right.
According to the internet, I don't really know much about seagulls, honestly. So.
I'm not going to claim any knowledge of birds.
Yeah, I'm not the expert. So where else have you seen Scuttle? Aside from The Little Mermaid, both the animated and live action, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, and Little Mermaid Ariel's Beginning, so all of the sequels, Scuttle has also made cameo appearances in 1996's animated sitcom starring Donald Duck and his family called Quack Pack. Anybody seen Quack Pack?
Where's Terrence when you need him? To
I-
go,
oh,
dude, I love that. That was so
guarantee.
cool. No, I don't know. Never.
Yeah, not I.
Same. Terrence, chances are he has the T-shirt, though. So Scuttle has also been seen numerous times in the animated television series from the early 2000s called House of Mouse. Now, that comes up on here a lot. A lot of these characters that I do for Who Dat are on House of Mouse. I think that TV show, I've never seen it. I don't even actually know what it is, but it feels like it takes all these like sort of weird ancillary characters and throws them into a TV show.
Okay. Sounds cool.
Yeah. And so in House of Mouse, Scuttle is usually accompanied by Ariel and Sebastian, which sort of makes sense. He's not just on his own. In 2023's Once Upon a Studio, which is on Disney Plus, Scuttle interrupts Ariel and tries to sing the chorus of When You Wish Upon a Star. However, Scuttle's squawk leads to notoriously terrible singing, and he eventually gets cut off by Baloo from The Jungle Book. Scuttle can also be found in the Disneyland parks, in the Disney parks, of course. Scuttle is at Tokyo Disney. He's a narrator for a couple of rides. He's also the narrator of Ariel's Undersea Adventure in DCA and the same ride in Magic Kingdom. But in Florida, he's also the host of a scavenger hunt game that guests can play while they're in line.
That makes sense.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
God,
sounds cool.
The lines in Florida are so much better than the lines in California.
The downside is that line moves so fast now, you would just have to stop and tell people to walk past you to play that game.
Yeah. And then that's just such an awkward thing to do.
Yeah. Also, you're in Florida.
Well,
that's
yeah.
the other downside to that.
That's the other downside. So Scuttle was animated by Rick Farmilo, who also animated Basil, Toby, and Dawson from The Great Mouse Detective, LeFou from Beauty and the Beast, and Abu from Aladdin. And he did all these before leaving the Walt Disney Company to go work for DreamWorks.
Oh, no.
All right.
Yeah. In the original animated The Little Mermaid, Scuttle was voiced by very well-known voice actor, and comedian Buddy Hackett. Scuttle's television appearances were voiced by Maurice LaMarche, Jess Harnell, and Chris Edgerly, who continues to voice him today. The live-action female version of Scuttle was voiced by actress, rapper, and comedian Aquafina.
Ugh. She's the worst, dude. I dislike.
Really?
Oh my god.
Why?
Really?
Because she's unfunny and just kind of unfunny. I don't know. I don't like her.
Jason has a thing about comedians.
I like her.
It's true.
So
is she refreshing to see on screen? Also, her name is Aquafina. Like, come stop it. Just stop.
The name itself is like, okay, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, but it's not funny. I don't know. It does. Whatever. Go ahead.
Well, in conclusion, call him or her loopy or misinformed. Even call him a know-it-all. But whatever you do, don't forget that if it weren't for Scuttle, Ursula would have shriveled up King Triton into that weird little shrimpy thing, and Ariel would have never grown legs, sung, or spoke again. Plus, I mean, who knows what would have happened with Prince Erik? I mean, the poor guy having to marry Vanessa/Ursula. Yikes. Anyway, thanks to Scuttle's ability to fly, he is the real hero that Ariel needed. And that's Who Dat.
Oh.
I'm trying to find out music. I'm not ignoring you.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have it. Oh, well, maybe this.
This is the scene where our moon pilot is out on the town with a girl. It creates a crisis on top of a crisis. The countdown has already been started. The general is worried about his astronaut.
Very good.
Thanks.
So appropriate.
Yeah, I suppose. All right, let's take a quick break, everybody. We're going to come right back, and we're going to read some Disney news, which I definitely have music for that. It's not going to be another boring ass, whatever, random crap I found on my soundboard from Moon Pilot. But whatever.
What does the pink button do?
It does this actually.
Tonight, Walt Disney presented a few scenes from his hilarious space-age comedy motion picture, Moon Pilot. In Moon Pilot, you'll again meet that hilarious space-happy astro chimp who really flips his lid when his fellow astronaut and moon pilot falls for a mysterious girl from outer space. And then,
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't put it in the show. These are just things I had. Yeah, the chimp is in the movie for 5 minutes. It's not like a big thing. You're not going to meet the chimp, but whatever. Anyway, let's take a quick break, everybody. We'll be right back here on EarzUp. I'm going to say on Disney Plus.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We'll be right back on Disney Plus. Don't go anywhere, okay? And then we have this little sound effect. Don't go anywhere on Disney Plus. Whatever.
Back to Ears Up, where the opinions never stop.
Ever. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. You know, I got to say, it's, September 19th right now. And I just pulled out my Halloween clothes package or whatever. It's Halloween shirt time, everybody. That's all I'm saying right now. So I'm ready for it. I've been ready for it. And that's all.
I love that.
That's all I got to say. I'm wearing a Halloween shirt, a Scream shirt. And so every show between now and middle of November, I'm going to have some sort of different Halloween shirt on because it just doesn't make sense to wear the stuff that I wear during Halloween in like August.
No,
Okay.
although that shirt's pretty good. I do have to say, I sometimes, because the Halloween story show is so important to me,
Yeah.
every once in a while I'll be like laying in bed. It'll be like June or February, and I'll be laying in bed and I'll have this thought and I'll be like, oh, yes. And like it's like just like a snippet of an idea for a story. And so I'll email myself, and the subject is always like Halloween story. And so when we started this show, I was like, oh my God, that's coming up. And I emailed myself and I couldn't remember when. So I just checked my email. Because sometimes then I look back and I'm like, oh, that was a terrible idea.
Oh, sure.
Or I don't even know what I meant.
Right.
So I just looked it up. And first of all, it was in January.
Okay, great.
And it's good.
Okay.
It's just 2 words, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know where I was going with that.
Okay.
And I'm ready.
All right.
I'm so excited.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Eric, are you looking forward to it?
Are
you going to be on drugs again?
I won't be on drugs.
Okay,
that'll be great.
All right.
Second year in a row. And Taren, I'm vibing with you because I'm laughing because recently I'm like, I wrote something down the other night. What was it? So on August 4th at 11:45 p.m. I wrote, maybe the lamp gets destroyed.
Oh, the lamp in Walt's office or studio or apartment.
That's the whole idea I had.
Hey.
Why didn't I write more?
Because you
don't
don't
need
have
to.
more.
You don't
The
need
more
to.
comes later.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. It'd be good to get someone else on here too to do it. I'll see if Terrence or Bev want to come back on. I know Bev won't because she hates it.
She would come on to listen, but not to write a story. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to come on.
But
to
I don't
write
need
a
her to
story.
sit there and go, "Oh, that's great," and then she's yelling at Abby to get out of the
True.
kitchen or yelling at Sam because he's Sam, and like that's it.
Yeah.
So contributors only.
Ah,
You know what I'm trying to say?
well then it's not going to be Bev.
Well, that's true. Summer is just around the corner, and our friends at the 21st Amendment Brewery are welcoming the warmer weather with open arms and a refreshing favorite, Hell or High Watermelon Wheat. Picture this: a sunny day, the smell of barbecue in the air, and a cold, crisp Hell or High Watermelon in your hand. It's the ultimate summertime companion, perfect for those unforgettable gatherings with friends and family. But what makes Hell or High Watermelon so special? It's not just its bright straw color or tight white bubbles. No, it's the subtle. We got to get more of this before it goes away for the season. Sweet biscuit and a
Watermelon?
kiss of juicy watermelon that sets it apart from the rest. With its refreshing flavor and delightful light fruit notes, Hell or High Because I love a Watermelon refreshing is found flavor. That's me. That's like my whole thing.
Pomegranate's
Just
next, though.
4.9% Ooh, ABV. that's true.
Oh,
You can enjoy it all day long.
Uh,
Yeah, everyone's heard this before. Forget about the Hell or High Watermelon. Pomegranate. Hell or High
Pomegranate's
Pomegranate.
coming.
That's what you got to do. So when you're checking out beers at the store or whatever, as if there's another place. From the homeless guy around the corner, you're shoulder tapping him to go buy a beer. You're like, the Hell or High Watermelon's great, and if you can find it, get it for sure. But look for the pomegranate. It's not like an overtly sour like pomegranate juice can be, but it's a very like dark fruit flavor that they do really well. So check that out.
It's so good for fall. It's the perfect.
That's true.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Spooky season drinks, everybody. Hold on.
Exciting.
Yeah, it kind of is, man.
Yeah,
love when
I've never
Erik-
had the pomegranate.
Really?
Oh, it's delicious, man. It's delicious.
We don't always get a whole lot of 21st Amendment out here.
You know what? Let me email Sully right now. I'm going to email him. I'm going to see if we can set you up with some.
Right now?
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now because I, have nothing else to do. I know Sully won't get it because he's in like Spain or something right now.
He is. He's got a great life, man.
Yeah. When your business partner turns, 80 or whatever. For Erik here, I'll do it later. I'm not going to type now.
Okay.
But what I will do now.
March in the past, present, and future with all the news that's fit to cover. It's the EarzUp Disney News.
All right, there's a fair amount of news to cover. And I think maybe it's a little bit of it is old, but I don't mind.
Okay.
It's fun still to talk about.
Great.
This is a weird one. We're going to start with a weird one right out of the bat. This is from metro.co.uk, and their sub tag or sub headline or whatever is news ... but not as you know it. So, I don't know what that means. Is that intriguing? Is it, just a more on the nose version of The Onion? I don't know. Babylon Bee. This, the headline says, jeez, dude. Disney facing fresh claims of homophobia after shocking insider reports.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Disney Pixar fans have shared their horror after insiders claimed Inside Out 2 was made to be, quote, less gay amid ongoing backlash to Disney's LGBTQ plus track record. And I've heard some of this before.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, let's talk about it. If I've heard of it, then I'm sure at least someone else has heard of it. Inside Out 2 checks back in with 13-year-old Riley when puberty hits and anxiety runs riot in her mind. The plot proved a major success, and after comfortably pushing past the 1 billion mark, Inside Out 2 has become the highest-grossing animated film of all time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, man, yeah. During the movie, Riley attends a hockey camp where she meets the effortlessly cool Captain Val, who she immediately puts on a pedestal, and LGBTQ plus fans were quick to speculate whether Riley was in the throes of a crush. This was only fueled by the thread throughout the film that Riley was hiding a deep, dark secret. You've seen that. Is that true? Is that a thing?
I have seen the movie. Yeah, and there is a deep, dark secret. And
There is?
eventually you find out what the deep, dark secret is. And that's a fun end of movie thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't feel like I remember that. What the deep dark secret is. Hold on. Everybody, spoiler alert. Just spoiler alert. Tell me what it is.
I would have to look it up because I can't remember. I only saw it the one time. It wasn't that she was gay. I mean,
No.
what's interesting, I can kind of see where people are going with this, but I'm sure we'll get to there with the rest of the story here. But yeah, you know what? I don't know. It read to me like this was an older girl that's doing a sport that's excelling at a thing that Riley wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's looking up to this person. But that's my view as a heterosexual male where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when I looked up to older upperclassmen in school, like, oh wow, it would be cool to be like that person.
Here's the thing about outrage for whatever it is, it involves a fair amount of projection.
Yeah.
And that's all, it's all you can
I'm
really
sure
say.
it's all your experience, but
The dynamic was never explicitly addressed in the film, but now emerging sources from inside Pixar Animation Studios have claimed they were instructed to ensure the relationship came across as platonic. Anonymous Pixar employees told IGN that they were told to make the film less gay, which led to numerous edits. Sources spoke about the rumors that a particular focus was put on Riley and Val's relationship, with lighting and tone adjusted to remove traces of, quote, romantic chemistry. Quote, it was just doing a lot of extra work to make sure that no one would potentially see them as not straight, one source alleged to the publication.
The struggle I'm having with this, and maybe this is more something I should talk about with my therapist and not here, but the struggle I'm having is that, like, I think that's what having friends is like. Like when you start making friends, I'm thinking specifically like being a freshman, right? Being a freshman in high school and you start making friends and oh my God, the junior is talking to me and like you're going to put them on a pedestal, whether it's a guy or a girl. And like, did I have crushes on my girlfriends? Like, no, not in like the traditional sense, but like, did I put them on a pedestal? Sometimes, absolutely.
My therapist calls it having star eyes for someone.
Yeah.
You could have star eyes for someone, but not be romantically interested in them or whatever. And, you know, I think...
That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I think from a storytelling standpoint, I highly doubt that the mandate from Disney was like, make this less gay. This seems too gay. But I would bet that if they're not trying to make some sort of like have some subtext of a relationship, then they would go... Let's analyze this because we got a lot of flack from Lightyear. When the rest of the article talks about Lightyear and all the outrage that they mentioned was from the Lightyear movie. And people were like, don't blame a same-sex kiss for your inability to write a good movie and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But with Inside Out 2, obviously that's not the case because it made $1 billion. But I think that I could absolutely see them putting an extra fine lens on it to making sure that they're clear about their relationship between the two kids, and hey, maybe we should adjust this lighting because it is kind of, you know, looks a little weird, and let's, you know, make sure we clean it up a little bit.
And I think it's more to make it neutral because it's not a romantic story. There is no romantic
I don't think it needs
story
to be
in there.
Also, she's 13 years old. We don't need a romantic story with a 13-year-old. We don't do it. We don't need it. Sorry.
Right. But yeah, our experience with the movie that we saw was post. Potentially, this is the allegation, was after somebody said make it less gay.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, one anonymous source. You can't believe one anonymous person.
Yeah.
It doesn't even work. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting, I guess, to a certain extent.
It is.
And so just for the record, because I have talked about this, I did very much like the movie, but I definitely liked the first one more.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little chaotic for me, and I wasn't as... The whole camp thing, I kind of thought it was going to go in a different direction. I didn't think it was all going to take place at camp, and that kind of threw me because I couldn't relate to it as much as the first movie.
Okay. I think the depiction of anxiety particularly resonated.
It did, and that was fantastic. And as I was watching it...
struck, yeah.
Yeah. As I was watching it, I was like, this is a therapist's dream movie. It's like such a good way to just think about and describe anxiety. So I did love it.
Right. I haven't seen it, so nothing to me. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Here's one from Parade magazine. It says, Disneyland visitors issue serious warning after allegedly receiving gross expired treats. Have you guys read about this at all from Oogie Boogie Bash? I'm familiar with some of it, and it's just apparently it's enough to warrant a whole entire article. But yeah, anyway, someone online shared a photo saying, I got these at this year's Oogie Boogie Bash. Are they using last year's supply, LOL? In the photo, a bag of Mickey Mouse goldfish snacks was held up to the camera with the Best By date as September 15th, 2024. The photo was shared on September 16th.
So they're 1 day expired?
Well, that's when she posted it. I don't know when she necessarily received it, but pretty much up to the limit. You know what I mean? Other guests seemed uneasy after seeing the photo, with replies like, wow, I'm really going to have to check all my bags now. That's crazy. And I've never checked any dates now, and now with the amount of candy I've consumed, ... weird smiley emoji. Someone who went to last year's Halloween event claimed, happens every year. Last year it was the sun chips. Other responses to the surprising allegation were, gross, disgusting, and oh no. Another Disneyland, I don't know why I'm doing voices for every, they're supposed to be different for every quote, and I don't know that they were. Another Disneyland visitor checked their treats and realized that their goldfish snacks had a date of August 15th, 2024, writing, quote, I just checked and I got something that expired over a month ago from Oogie Boogie Bash this past Thursday. Are they checking the treats being distributed? ... question mark.
Yeah, just like get over it.
So
I
these
took
are the actual
expired-
treats you're getting for free on the treat trails?
Yeah,
Not
I
like
guess.
the stuff
Yeah.
you buy in the store?
Yeah.
But it's like it's so silly to me. Like I don't really believe in expiration dates.
They exist.
No, I don't believe
But
them.
for goldfish, the amount
Yeah,
of
for crackers,
preservatives in a cracker.
And
One
also,
day.
it's Best Buy. It's Best Buy that date. It doesn't mean that it's toxic.
Well, while this led to more upset reactions from some, others defended Disneyland with pointing out that these are Best Buy dates, not expiration dates. One fan explained, quote, "That's why they put Best Buy and not expired on most products now. More of a freshness date than a don't eat date."
Yeah.
Another said the same thing, but added, "Regardless, I'm not sure why they're giving stuff that's not fresh out." I was nervous going into that quote because I didn't have another voice.
You pulled it off brilliantly.
Thanks.
Did.
According to the Food Safety and Inspection Service, quote, "A best if used by before date indicates when a product will be of best flavor or quality. It is not a purchase or safety date. An expiration or used by date is the last date recommended for the use of the product while at peak quality." Disneyland has not publicly responded to the situation. Yeah, so Pauly D is not getting a response to this at all.
That's
Yeah,
too bad.
I mean, you know what? Do I believe it? Sure. Does it happen? Probably. Did they buy 15 pallets of goldfish last year and only go through 14? Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm sure the manufacturers give it to them too.
But considering
What,
the
what
Mickey
if they
Mouse ones,
sent them
yeah.
a bunch of old stuff?
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know
They're
what?
like, oh crap, we got to get these out on day one.
Yeah, it's funny because this article has these are from Twitter, and you know they have like the tweets embedded into the article, right? So you can see this the one with the goldfish has 77 likes and 12 replies, but it's
77.
but we're doing an article on it.
Yeah. I wouldn't call that viral.
The other one has 112 likes. I mean, and this I think was on the Disneyland subreddit too, but like it just seems like such a non-issue.
Yeah.
Like, oh man,
People just want to be mad at stuff.
which I get.
On one of our last trips to Walt Disney World, I remember we were staying at the Riviera, and on our last day, we were just kind of hanging out in the gift shop, you know, waiting for the bus to come and take us out to the airport. And they had a whole rack of like the Disney candy stuff, and they had one rack that was labeled 50% off. And I took a look at it, and we really like the character gummies. And we have a friend whose kid really likes the character gummies, so we always buy a few packs for him and for ourselves. But 50% off. We're like, oh yeah, what's going on? And the person running the shop said, just letting you know, the Best Buy date is like next week. That's why it's discounted. We're like,
Okay.
Great.
they're gummies. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We bought like 10.
Yeah.
And I get that you have to have standards. You have to have food standards.
Right.
You get totally fine. But it's a cracker that was Best Buy yesterday. You're gonna be okay.
Right.
Like to waste the
But
digital.
it's no longer
footprint.
best.
I deserve the best. I live in this country. Gosh darn it. Here's a couple feel good stories before we get back into the muck. I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was a couple years ago. In Florida, you can get a Disney World themed license plate. You know, a lot of states have these themed license plates. Like we have one with the palm tree on it, and it goes to like, you know, help contribute to the arts programs in schools or whatever, right? Because, you know, we're altruists. Is that the right word? Use of the word?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, great. Anyway, this one has a, you know, silhouette of the castle or whatever. Well, apparently people in Florida have really shown out for this, and a lot of people have paid extra for this license plate. So Disney raised $3 million for this organization. Because of Florida drivers, Walt Disney World has helped raise $3 million for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh.
100% of the sales from the theme park's specialty license plates go to children battling critical illnesses. The funds benefit the Make-A-Wish Central and Northern Florida. The money helps grant wishes for hundreds of local families, including sending over 300 families on trips and spreading happiness and hope. Disney officials say this is a new fundraising milestone for the company.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, man. Those interested in purchasing a Walt Disney World specialty license plate can visit any Florida DMV or local county tax collector's office. Yada, yada, yada. So I thought it was neat. It was a good, just nice, feel-good movie. Where are you going? No, not movie, but...
She's fed up with all the good stuff.
She's like, I'm out of here. Yeah, fun. Good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Good job, Florida. Which is weird because to me that just sounds like socialism, and I thought we were against that, but that's, here.
Helping out sick children just because they're sick?
I know. How dare we? Come on now. This article is weird. I don't know anything about it. I will say this. I clicked on it from the headline alone. I just learned something about Disney World that might fix my single biggest problem at the resort.
Oh.
Yes, I know, right?
Finally.
I know. And then the subheading is, there is one thing that drives me crazy at Disney World, so this news changes everything.
Which bot wrote this story?
Yeah, right. I know. Well, this is from Cinema Blend's resident theme park expert, and they pride themselves on their knowledge of theme park resorts. Let's see. I'm trying to like weed through the muck here. There's a lot that I can still tell you about places I've never been, but the fact is places like Walt Disney World are so massive and so constantly changing that it's impossible to know everything. There's always something new at Disney World that I don't know, but I'm not sure this piece of news is even that new, except to me. You can track Disney World buses on Google Maps now. And this changes everything. That's basically it. Google Maps now has Disney World updates for buses.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it is. This guy says, this is an absolute game changer. I am not overstating it when I say that waiting for Disney World buses is the absolute worst thing you can find yourself doing at the resort. I hate it. While grabbing a bus from your resort in the morning is usually no big deal, as the day goes on, it feels like whatever bus you're waiting for never arrives. Yeah. If you arrive at a Disney World theme park bus station in the evening only to see a bus to your hotel just pulling out, get ready, because the next one could be a long way off. It's awful. And somehow, while you're waiting for the next bus to your resort, 3 of them are going to a different resort, will pull up one after the other.
I definitely remember that experience.
Yeah, well, and the bus that was supposed to grab us from someplace and take us to Epcot, I think, like broke down, so they were sending another bus. But yeah, 3 other buses came by. But can we just, can we move, please?
It's not your bus.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Next time you guys go to Disney World, Google Maps.
That's
will apparently
really
do that
cool.
for you. Yeah.
Okay.
We should tell Bev and Terrence and then see if it works well for them.
I don't care enough about them.
They're at Disney Springs right now.
No, I just meant so they can give us content.
They're at Disney. How do you know they're at Disney Springs right now?
Because I talked to Terrence earlier today.
Oh. All right, man. Here's an article about the new Deadpool
Maybe they're in
movie.
bed. I don't know. It's late.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds says Bob Iger asked one line to be cut from Deadpool and Wolverine, and I still don't know why Bob Iger is shoving his stupid nose in media anymore.
Why does
He just walked in the office and said, "Make it less gay," and left.
Deadpool and Wolverine star Ryan Reynolds says Disney CEO Bob Iger requested one line be removed from the R-rated Marvel superhero movie. But will it say? Will Reynolds say? There was only one line in the entire film that they asked me to take out. After Reynolds resisted giving in to pleas from the crowd to say what the line was, he added, "And they were right." Reynolds then further recalled his thought process when it came to the request to remove the objectionable line. As soon as someone says something like, "Ryan, Bob Iger here, would love it if you'd take that one line out. It's really going to make our life hard over here." As soon as they say that, there's just something in my brain that goes, "Must keep line."
Yeah.
And as soon as the fog of war lifts and you have a second thought, it's like, of course I can take that out. Can I say something about Pinocchio instead? And the answer is yes.
So I wonder if he said something about Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
He was like,
probably.
Nope, can't.
Apparently he doesn't say what the line was, which I assumed that they would. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, just stop, dude. Just let him do the things, man. Whatever. Who cares? Speaking of Bob Iger, this is where the Disney CEO candidates stand right now. This article from Variety. Yeah. So apparently they announced Disney in August. We haven't even covered this. Disney announced that board member James P. Gorman would lead the planning committee tasked with orchestrating the handoff of power between Iger and his heir. So Iger can't pick anybody. And so the board is like, we're going to help you, old man. Come here, grandpa. We're going to shovel you back into bed while we figure out who's going to take over.
Because
here's a few $1 million. Sit down.
Yeah. He doesn't think anybody is good enough.
Apparently not. I mean, of all the CEOs in the entire world that he knows, not one of them is either willing or able or capable to do this. Like, there's nobody in entire human existence right now on this planet that is able to do this job. He is the only one. I don't know if you know that. He is the chosen one. He will lead us into temptation? No. Whatever. The promised land. Something like that. It just is crazy. It seems so weird. Roughly 2 weeks after Gorman was tapped, the New York Times published an impressive account of the implosion of Bob Chapek. I don't know if it was an implosion so much as a set-shaped charge detonation.
An attack.
Yeah. God. Chapek was a door and Bob Iger was SEAL Team 6 breaching. But, whatever. Let's see. I'm trying to find this thing. Let's see. Dana Walden, a co-chairman of Disney Entertainment, still has a leading edge, according to nearly a dozen industry players, corporate rivals, and Disney sources who spoke with Variety. She is the chieftain of television at the company, and the Emmy Hall puts her at the top of the class. A savvy executive with decades of talent relations under her belt, Walden is seen as the closest spiritual successor to Iger, an executive who projects a placid kind of perfection and prioritizes creative output. Quote, Dana is smart and all in for this opportunity, says one powerful show business figure close to her. But Walden shouldn't start rearranging the furniture in Iger's executive suite. What's she doing up there? Why is she in there? What should she need to worry about Iger's executive suite? Leave it alone. But she has limited experience with parks, cruises, and Disney's valuable franchise businesses in film. She's also been inserted into a current election cycle. Her friendship with White House hopeful Kamala Harris made headlines as ABC News hosted a debate between Harris and Trump last month. Whatever, dude. Okay, there's Josh tomorrow. He isn't as well known as Walden. I would offer to say he's probably
far more well-known.
Yeah, I know. To casual fans, definitely, right? But he has the kind of operational experience that could appeal to board members and shareholders. Sources noted the plug tomorrow gave himself at August's D23 fan convention. While announcing a new villain land coming to Walt Disney World, the Magic Mirror from Snow White name-checked him personally on stage before hyping attractions that will go inside the layers of Ursula and Maleficent. Others note his similar lack of experience facing Wall Street, but concede that it takes creative chops to program parks content and manage Disney's vaunted Imagineers. Anyone beyond Dana or Josh is probably a stretch, says one person. Blah, blah. I'm not going to go on because that's kind of enough already. I'm what makes me nervous is it's a battle between entertainment and the parks.
Yeah.
And I think that this indecision is sort of showcasing the problem with Disney for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Is they're prioritizing entertainment over the parks. And they have the Disneyland Forward, and that's all coming out. And that's fine. That's great. So I guess there's kind of like a roadmap. But I don't like the fact that DeMauro could be potentially counted out because he's so park-centric and he's not involved so much with the entertainment side of things. In my opinion, I don't think the CEO of this company should be infatuated with the movies and TV shows like the way Iger is. There's no need for it.
Because that's when bad decisions are made and bad movies and just...
Yeah, well, and it pulls focus.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I've been saying for a long time. Like you're the CEO, you're the head of the umbrella or whatever. I don't know, man. You hire people that you trust to make decisions in those wings for entertainment or whatever. Why are you?
But I guess you could say the same the other way too.
You can for sure, absolutely. Like, and that's what I say. You know, like about you at your company, you don't need to know how everything works to be able to make decisions. You really don't. You need to have some sort of like idea, obviously, about how things work, and you need to have a good rapport with everybody, and you have to obviously have an idea of the business, right? But the day-to-day workings, you don't need that because you're trusting the people and you're hiring these people.
Yeah, you're a chief executive.
Yeah.
There are other people that can get into that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, imagine you hire somebody to run the film side of things, and then you go step in and then you go, hey, can you take this line out? Hey, can you do this thing? Dude, well, then what am I doing here? Why did you hire me? Bob, if you want to do it, then you friggin' do it.
Yeah.
Jerk. That's what I see with this whole thing where that's, I think maybe the problem is he's trying to find the Goldilocks replacement, but I think that job has too many working parts anyways, and he needs to be delegating, and he's not. He's a micromanager, it sounds like.
It's not the days of Walt, and it's not even the days of Eisner, both of whom were notorious micromanagers, walking through and just pointing at things and saying, make that better, or yeah, we're going to do this movie, not that movie, but hey, cut that line out. I mean, it's so much more complicated now with all the different revenue streams, and yeah, we need somebody creative in there.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of somebody leading this company who's not a creative. And a creative is not reading a script and going, I don't like this line.
Right. It's taking a bet on something and saying, I think America will like this. I think the world will like this concept. I think we can go with this.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the reason that Disney became successful was because of, hold on, I might be, okay, so Walt was always the creative guy, but Roy was the money guy. So, but the reason that Disney was successful was both.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, how do you find that person now that is both creative? I don't think you can, which is the problem. And it's almost like they need another level, or co-captains or something.
Co-captain of the seven.
What they're looking for is a unicorn, and you're not going to find it. So I do think you're either going to find the one that does all the money, which is the entertainment side. Not to say that that's where all the money comes from, but I feel like that's more money focused than the creative side. I think maybe that's not. Maybe it's opposite. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But what I'm saying is that they are looking for a unicorn, and I don't think they're going to find it, and it's going to be weird.
That's valid.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Have you guys been following the DirecTV Disney war?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Somewhat. I mean, I just know it's not over.
It ended, actually.
Oh, it did?
Is. Yeah, it is, in
Oh.
fact, over. The deal reached last week will allow DirecTV to offer certain genre-specific packages to subscribers, such as sports, entertainment, and family content. So there's a whole thing, and apparently Disney content was off of DirecTV for a few days, through the debate.
Yeah.
But it got reinstated in time for the Emmys. Thank God. I mean, we almost had the most important television moment of our year disrupted. You know what I mean? Jeez Louise. Apparently, it was just over pricing and what price to DirecTV satellite streaming and Uverse customers Disney's content would go to. The dispute began at the start of September when Disney's and DirecTV's old contract expired. At the core of the dispute was that Disney felt DirecTV wasn't offering it the money its content was worth. Meanwhile, DirecTV wanted more flexibility in how to bundle the content, which is kind of putting dulling the point on that, because what I've read was that DirecTV was we just want to pay for what people use. So I guess there's a thing where you can activate the Disney, stuff. I don't really know too much about it. I don't know how DirecTV works, but only 10% of people actually took them up on that offer. But Disney wants DirecTV to pay for the whole thing, if that makes sense. As if 100% of people were using the content.
So Disney's saying, you get the Disney Channel, you get ESPN, but you also have to get Freeform.
I guess, yeah. But Disney wanted DirecTV to pay a flat fee, but DirecTV is but not everybody uses these. Not everybody signs up for these. So why are we paying for content that people aren't using? We don't want to do that. Which to me makes total sense. Yeah, it makes sense, right? It's
yeah, it does.
If we push cable, if you want to come on us, that's fine. If you want to come on our, whatever, our infrastructure, great, but we're not going to just write you a blank check and say, okay, how you put a number here. If 10% of our customers use your product, then we're going to pay that. We're going to pay what it should be. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Since the two were out of stalemate, all of Disney's channels were pulled from DirecTV in what is known as a blackout. This meant DirecTV customers could not watch Disney-owned channels. But on September 14th, a miracle, I don't know, Disney and DirecTV announced they had agreed to a new deal, thus ending the blackout. Through the first of its kind collaboration, DirecTV and Disney are giving customers the ability to tailor their video experience through more flexible options, the statement read in part. But what does that mean? For Disney, the answer is money. Neither company revealed what the financial terms of the new deal were, but it's unlikely that Disney would have signed on again if the new financial terms weren't sufficiently valuing its content assets. As for DirecTV, they get the right to continue carrying ABC, ESPN, and FX, Disney-branded channels, Freeform, and National Geographic. The ability to offer customers new genre-specific packages, including sports, entertainment, and kids and family. That's interesting. Some DirecTV packages will also include access to Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so it's a multi-year deal, so there you go. But first of all, when I first heard about it, I was like, I love the fact that DirecTV is standing up to Disney and be like, why are we paying you all this money when people aren't using our product?
Yeah.
Who cares? What are you talking about?
I love that, like 2 days after the blackout, DirecTV increased their prices. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
Just go at it.
All right, we got two more news stories. And they're both pretty good. So this is a PDF from the Unite Here Local 737, which is apparently the union that covers a lot of workers at Disney Springs, the subcontracted Disney workers. And it reads, when guests at Walt Disney World interact with cast members, they can be confident these Disney employees have good jobs, benefits, and the rights and protections of a union contract. When guests at Disney Springs restaurants interact with employees, they might assume that the employees work for Disney. In fact, many of them are not Disney employees. They are employees of the subcontractors who operate 56 of the restaurants, bars, and other food service venues in Disney Springs. Many of these Disney Springs restaurant workers do not receive important benefits, including health insurance, paid vacation time, and paid sick days. We conducted a survey of 69 workers of Disney subcontractors at 18 locations at Disney Springs. At these 18 locations, there are approximately 960 workers in total. The workers we surveyed worked at one of the following locations. And it's just blah, blah. Wait, hold on a second. There it is. It's just a list. Rainforest Cafe, Morimoto Asia, blah, blah, blah. What is it? What? I feel like they put this PDF together just to confuse me. Key findings: second-class job standards for employees of Disney Springs and subcontractors. Okay. So of the workers we surveyed, I missed that part. 59% work part-time. 46% have no health insurance. So these are the Disney Springs subcontracted restaurants, which there are a ton of.
Yeah.
Only 19% of respondents have health insurance through their job with a Disney subcontractor. Only 26% receive paid sick time. That's insane to me.
That's almost, well, I mean, that's Florida for you, but.
Well, that's true. By contrast, the over 18,000 direct employees of Disney represented by Unite Here Local 737 have much higher employment standards. 31% work part-time. 69% are full-time and are eligible for non-union, for union negotiated health insurance. 100% receive paid sick time. Blah, 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 whatever. So it's just a kind of a PDF that the union put out, like, hey, not everybody here is kosher. Let's try to get the subcontractors on. And they have a bunch of quotes from people who work at like Maria and Enzo's. This person says, I would like to work full time, but my company has not offered it to me. How can you survive in Orlando on a part-time job?
Yeah. And that's interesting. Did we cover the Gideon's Bakery fiasco a few months ago?
I think we did. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Maybe.
But that was a bunch of workers that, well, it was an anonymous source talking about how awful it was to work at Gideon's, and then a bunch of Gideon's folks came up and said, actually, no, we're better than a lot of the businesses here at Disney Springs. Don't believe this person, because there were protests out in front of one of the most popular locations at Disney Springs.
Wow.
But at least the other employees at Gideon's came forward and said, no, this is good. This is a small company. We like working here. I don't know who this person is, but they didn't like working here.
Oh, that's good, I guess. All right. Last but not least, we're going to rip this one out and get out of here. Maybe you guys have heard about this, but there's a couple who sued Disney over them being kicked out of Club 33, and they tried to get back in.
Oh, really?
And they couldn't. And so now they're like supposedly telling all the secrets or whatever. And it's like, this is all stuff that everyone knows. But this is from the Hollywood Reporter. And the title is, "It's a Cult and Walt's the Messiah. Meet the couple who sued Disney over secret of Club 33. Scott and Diana Anderson only want one thing, to be let back into Club 33.
I bet you do.
But Club 33 definitely doesn't want them as members. Since 1967, the club has served Disneyland's highest rolling VIPs in the in-the-know oasis over the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Yeah, I don't really think that's where it is. Sort of, kind of, maybe, but not really. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the Andersons, both 60, first of all, rude, have been together for 44 years. They waited 12 of those years to receive their Club 33 invitation, shelling out $50,000 for their first year's dues alone. They got their money's worth, however, using the club's upward of 80 days per year.
Dang.
That's ballin', dude.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, you're not like Erik. You're going to go in for a hot lunch at $80 a pop. These guys are probably spending $200-300.
Oh yeah, every time. Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
By their 5th year of membership, however, the magic was fading. They say new managers had taken over. Their favorite chef was gone. Imagine having a favorite chef.
Is Glenn on today?
Yeah, I know. Right?
I'd really like to talk to Glenn.
We're going to pass on the ceviche because only Glenn knows how to really squirt the lime in there good. Like, I would love to be at a financial point in my life where I had a favorite chef that's not the sushi bar owner that gets me drunk. Like, you know what I mean?
And at a restaurant that on top of your bill, you have to pay $50,000 a year.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, God bless them. Whatever. I wouldn't know what they do for a living, though. Jeez. Their favorite chef was gone, and they were repeatedly slapped with member violations, which I want to know what that means. But the worst of them came on September 3rd, 2017, when Scott was discovered by park security keeled over on a bench in California Adventure near the 1901 lounge.
Oh, man.
A park guard said he smelled alcohol on his breath. Scott says it was a vestibular migraine triggered by red wine.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good answer. I don't know if
What's a vestibular migraine? Because maybe I get those.
It's a very specific type of migraine.
That's what
I
I'm
guess
saying. Like, that's a specific excuse. That
but,
almost sounds
but,
like
really
it
is.
could
But
be
if you
real.
have that on the tip of your tongue, maybe you shouldn't be drinking red wine there, buddy.
Right.
A vestibular migraine is a nervous system problem that causes repeated dizziness or vertigo in people who have a history of migraine symptoms. Unlike traditional migraines, you may not always have a headache. It's also known as migraine-associated vertigo. So, yeah, look, if I'm rich and I have a drinking problem and I go to a place that not everybody can get to that already sort of like strokes my elitist, side of my personality, 100%, I'm going to have the dumbest excuse on the tip of my brain.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Asymptomatic Tourette's.
That's right. Yeah. It's like by the way, if you're not watching English Teacher on Hulu, you got to watch it.
I was going to say, that's a very specific answer.
It's very funny. It's a very good show. I love it. We love it. And I don't like funny things because I always think I'm funnier.
I was shocked that he wanted to watch a comedy.
Well, I was talking to this with my therapist today. I was like, I dislike comedies because I think that could be funnier. I'm funnier. No one bought my script. Why does everybody else get nice things? But anyway, whatever. Anyway, a month after the incident, The Andersons were informed they had been expelled from Club 33 forever. And I want to know what the other infractions were, the member violations
we need
first.
more details.
Yeah. Thus began their $400,000 legal odyssey to get reinstated and seek $231 in damages.
$231?
$231,000.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
But the Andersons lost after a jury of 12 deliberated for 45 minutes
They went to jury.
and ruled in Disney's favor. So here's the thing. You have so much money that you live in Southern California, a member of Club 33, go on average of 80 days a year, and you spent $400,000, and you're seeking half of that because you needed a number, I guess. But like, you spent that much money to get back into the club to get the privilege to spend more money.
Right.
And you had the balls to take this to jury. Imagine you're on the jury and you're sitting there deliberating whether or not the rich people get back in the secret club that nobody can afford to go to or not.
Meanwhile, you're making $15 a day.
I know, right? Or like, there's so many problems in Southern California that could be solved with this money. But here we are.
Yeah.
We're sitting here debating whether or not people can get drunk in a theme park or not. This is insane.
And half the people on that jury are filling out the form that gets them like a 1/10 of their salary for the day.
Right, yeah.
You're so mad on that jury.
The
You're
Andersons
so angry.
responded, quote, Scott vehemently attests that he was not drunk but sick. And they feel, quote, they were targeted after expressing concerns about sexual harassment by another club member. What is it? These people are 60. Who's sexually harassing you? I guess another club member.
Oh, I thought they were sexually harassing people.
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Wow.
They
Good
were
take.
targeted. You're right. I think you're right. They were targeted by. In field, they were targeted after expressing concerns about sexual harassment by another club member. So maybe you're right, Taren. I don't know. And so the Andersons have no more Donald Ducks to give. At least that appeared to be the case when they joined The Hollywood Reporter for a conversation about the secrets of Club 33. Quote, the worst part with Club 33 is, conservatively, 80% of all members are selling access, claims Diana, of a practice that is prohibited by the club bylaws. Quote, and they're selling all the merchandise online. They're making cottage industries off this place.
I mean, that is happening.
Yeah, that's happening. The one person that gave us access, we didn't pay. I mean, they were a friend. We didn't pay. They didn't ask for anything. They paid our bill. Like, we bought merch, and I still have it. Like, I don't know. We didn't do that, I guess, but that doesn't mean that nobody is.
No, there's definitely people that do it. I see it on TikTok.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, like, you have I mean, selling the merchandise, probably, sure, but like selling access, I don't know. I mean, I guess
that's kind of
I don't know. That's
probably
that's a
so
bold
easy
claim.
for Disney to identify, right?
You would think, yeah.
Because yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on. Let's read the thing. I don't know. Explain, Scott. A lot of it is to pay their dues. The dues today are $32,000 a year, which is just insane.
It's a car.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a car. Every year you're buying a brand new car.
You're frozen. Oh, there you are. Never mind.
I'm right here.
You're back.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I never was frozen.
I have a ventricular migraine.
Yeah, you sure you do, man. Okay. So now here's the interview with a Hollywood Reporter. Hi, Scott and Diana. What do you do in Arizona? Scott Anderson. We own a golf course in Gilbert, Arizona, which I live 500 yards away from. I drive a golf cart over there to work. I work all day, every day. Okay, Scott, get over yourself, first of all. The answer couldn't be, oh, we own a golf course. It had to be, I drive a golf cart. I do it every day.
Well, and you can't work all day, every day if you went to Disneyland 80 times.
Yeah, right. Where did the obsession with Disneyland come about? Diana, that's all on me. My dad was in the military. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Then I found out that right next to it is Club 33. Okay, first of all, now I need to back up because as I'm reading above what I missed. And
and there was juicy deets.
When I was 16, this is how dumb this woman is. When I was 16, every high school in Arizona went to Disneyland for graduation. That's when I first saw the light in the window above the fire station, which is Walt's Eternal Light. I'm gosh, what is that about? Turns out the light was in Walt Disney's personal apartment. Then I found out that right next to it, that is Club 33. And I'm like,
untrue.
I would like to get into this club. We had heard it cost $6,000, and this was more than 30 years ago. Then the invitation came, and it was 4 times what we thought it would be. Yeah, what do you mean talking about right? Like, is she drunk in the interview?
Yeah, like so much of this doesn't make sense.
Because because it's incorrect. It's factually wrong. Right next to it is
it's not even remotely
an office.
close.
Yeah, I know, right? Whatever. Scott says there was a $25,000 level of membership and a $40,000 level of membership. Hollywood Reporter, did it really take you 12 years to gain entry? Diana, yes, but we started saving up before then. We were thinking it would be about $12,000. So what was the actual amount? Scott says it was $40,000 plus your first year dues, which was $10,000. That included access for her mother and our son. So then talking about tiers of membership, Scott says there was silver, there was gold. Then they created platinum and executive, and they forced the silvers to come up to gold. And then the gold had the option to go up to platinum if they paid the platinum dues. And what does that get you? Well, you get 5 VIP tours per person. The tour is basically a skip the line pass. And how many people can go on that tour? 10 people. Park fees are waived. Plus, we got 100 park tickets for guests. But your park fees are always covered? Right. Club 33 is really a glorified annual pass.
How privileged.
To think that.
VIP tours is just a way to get to the front of the line. Like, we talked to our tour guide all day. We're like, tell us more information.
I would hate to be the tour guide that takes and this is what I have heard. I'm not going to say like directly, but there are a lot of things being talked about behind the scenes about pretentious Club 33 members. And I mean, I could believe it because you have to have a certain level of income to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But reading this interview, I 100% believe every single one of them now.
Yeah.
I believe that they're just pretentious jerks who think that the world owes them something because they own a golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Diana says, and a Club 33 member, you don't have to pay for the Lightning Lane or Genie Pass or all that other garbage. I mean, you get everything. Of course, you should get everything. At that level, when you're paying $35,000 a year, absolutely, you get a bunch of stuff with it.
Yeah.
No, you need to spend another $5 if you want PhotoPass.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one thing that trips them up. What do you get in the actual Club 33? Diana says liquor and food. When we first joined, they had the dining room and the trophy room.
Liquor first.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, and apparently they've been there since the trophy room. So there you go. They're longtime members. Scott, when they opened up these new membership types, they opened up a second club called the 1901 Lounge, which is on the California Adventure side, and it's right next to, here we go. It's right next to the Cars restaurant. No, it's not. It's next to Carthay Circle
What is
restaurant.
wrong with these people?
They're insane. They don't even care enough about, for them, I think this was all just about being elite and elitism and holding it over people. I don't feel like they really cared enough about
like they don't
the
understand
club
the
or what
park.
it meant or the park itself.
Yeah.
They're just in a Manhattan haze walking around the
They just want to be in the exclusive club.
For sure. Which
so
I guess
weird.
kind of makes sense because they own a golf course. They probably have a golf club, a private club, and they do the thing. So like, well, we should do that too. It is not next to the Cars restaurant. And maybe giving them grace, maybe they're misquoted. He says it holds maybe 45 people total inside. No, that's more than that, but that's fine. When it's 95 degrees outside, it's lovely to go in there. They have light bites and cocktails, wine and beer. And then the manager would wander around to do table touching as any manager should. You know, where they go and go, how is everything? Is everything fine? Are you guys doing good? Okay, great, thanks. Diana says, but you did get other privileges. We used to get to ride the Lily Bell, which was Walt's personal car on the Disneyland Railroad train. Eventually, they started selling that for $85 a piece. Isn't the food in the club supposed to be really good? Diana, it was when Marcel was there.
Oh, my God.
Marcel.
First name basis. Scott, when we first joined, the original chef, Marcel St. Pierre, would make a world of different things for you. You could have a full rack of prime rib for a party of 8, and he'd bring it out and hand slice it. Diana, waffles at 4:00 in the afternoon? No problem. Scott, it was an amazing experience, but they wanted to redo the restaurant and increase the size of the kitchen. So they took out the trophy room and added a bar lounge called Salon Nouveau. Can you imagine being that person to be like, I really want, Marcel, I really want waffles. Could you please be a doll and whip me up some? And Marcel's going back and beating his head against, he opens the walk-in and puts his head in between it and slams the door on it.
Like, you know that the servers were talking to the hosts and be like, no, not my section. No, not today.
Oh, you
Not
get
them.
Diana and
No.
Scott. Oh,
like,
God.
I will give you $100. I will give you half of my tips today to put them in a different section.
Yeah. Do they have a no photos policy in there? Diana, they have a no photo policy in the bathrooms, but that's just California law. What are you talking about?
Yeah, also, I took lots of pictures.
I
in
took
that
tons of
bathroom.
pictures. You want to know why? Because there's nobody else in there.
And it's awesome.
And
So-
it's beautiful.
Don't take pictures of people in the bathroom.
Yeah, don't
that's
do that.
That's probably what's against the law.
But literally, I would think our server was like, yeah, you can take pictures.
What a
I'm
weird
They're strange
what a
people.
weird thing to say is, do they have a no photos policy? Clearly he's talking about in the club, but she goes, well, in the bathrooms.
That implies that some of the things against them are photo violations of the bathrooms.
Oh, it does. It does imply that.
I wonder if that's how she knows this.
And maybe that's part of the sexual assault or the.
Oh, no.
Taren spreading rumors. Scott says you can take photos in the lounge and the grand salon, but you can't do any videoing. Whatever. And Dan,
I think they can't do any videoing.
Diana says, and you can't take pictures of other people who aren't in your group because people are always trying to take pictures of celebrities. It's just very rude. Members do it all the time. You know, not us, but other members do. She's constantly throwing people under the bus. And there's no blackout days or anything. Diana, correct. Unless they close the club down because they have Tom Hanks coming in for Thanksgiving. Then you have to get out by 3:30.
Wow. Like, this lady.
And did that
people-
happen? Scott, absolutely. Our friends from San Jose were so pissed off because they called far in advance to get a good reservation for dinner for Thanksgiving. The club said, unfortunately, the latest reservation we can have is 1:30 p.m. On their way out, in comes Tom Hanks and his wife and family. So they had their own private dining experience.
Because they made a reservation before you. Like,
Well,
get
also
off.
because, I think they just bought the club out. You could probably do that because you're rich.
Right. And they made a reservation early.
And I feel
buying
like,
the club out.
well,
Like-
it sounds like their friend made a reservation first and then Tom Hanks pushed them out.
Well, they made a reservation for 1:30. They just wanted it
you're right.
later.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
it's true. Yeah.
you just didn't
Yeah.
do it early enough. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's also like Tom Hanks is richer than you.
Yeah.
And they don't like that.
Also, he's Woody. Like,
Diana says Rebel Wilson got suspended for 30 days for taking a picture in the bathroom. I don't believe that because literally I'll post a friggin' picture I took in the bathroom tomorrow. Like it's literally
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
I have several.
And then 6 months later, she took a video of her dancing with Minnie Mouse in the Grand Salon. And then she was on TV announcing she'd been suspended. I mean, whatever. What are
I
you going
just
to do,
don't
man?
feel like that's the real reason why.
Scott,
I was told by a friend who knows someone who has access that after the Rebel Wilson thing, the club clamped down for a while.
I could
For
see that.
a few months, they were saying, just take it easy on pictures, especially for people who are guests. The members were told, just keep an eye on your guests. Because Rebel is not a member. She was a guest there, and it's like,
it says
just cool it.
Said she's a member and she got suspended. So I don't know.
She's a member. Oh, okay.
I don't know. Scott said a bigger scandal was actually Katy Perry offering access to the lounge for charity for $160,000.
She would do that.
But it's just, it's charity.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that
Well, apparently not. Diana says you're not allowed to give your tickets to charity.
anymore.
How are people profiting off their memberships? Diana, they're selling their 100 park tickets. They're selling access. They're getting about $125 for lunch in the club. Scott, then there's the exclusive Club 33 merch. There are fanatics out there that obviously aren't members. Members walk out with 10 bags in their hands of the latest release of merchandise. They put it all up for sale. Diana, one of them even has an online store. I don't believe you, because if you had
They'd
an
get
online
kicked out.
store, Disney would know about it. Or then you just tell the parks, hey, look, this member has an online store where they just sell the merch. Get him in trouble. You're just whining about. Anyway, there's also special events, and people sell access to those events. We got Club 33 gardening vests and clipping shears that had the Club 33 logo on the leather pouch.
So cool.
What?
The most boomer sentence in the entire article is the
Goodness.
fact that these people are whining that someone sold their Club 33 branded vest and gardening shears. Scott, we did dinner inside the Haunted Mansion. 25 people around the dining room table. I think that was an additional $2,500 for the two of us.
Jeez.
Did it give you access to secret stuff like Walt's apartment? Listen to this answer. Scott, we got to see it when it was still all the original furniture in there. They have since yanked it all out and replaced it with replica stuff. I liked it when it was cool. I saw it when it was original.
Yeah.
Shut the front door, Diana. We used to go as members. We could have all the time in the world we wanted in there. Now they make you pay and it's all roped off. But you used to be able to go inside and walk through. I mean, we were using the bathroom in Walt's apartment because we were in there for so long. They were like, go ahead, use the bathroom. It's fine. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
It's truly, Scott, it's truly very cultish. Every time they build a new ride and it wasn't up to snuff, members are like, what would Walt do? Diana, it is a cult, and Walt is the Messiah. Is it true the 33 in Club 33 is a Freemasons reference?
Gosh.
You're the Hollywood Reporter. You should know that that's been debunked forever. Scott goes, Walt was a Freemason, and that's the highest level, 33. Well, yeah, but it's Scottish Freemasonry, which is different than what we think of, so whatever. Diana, that's all speculation. You can't find any written evidence that that's where 33 came from. They say it's because it would have been the address on the street where the original door was, but the door is moved. So that explanation never made any sense. What are you talking about? It's
Club 33 is now Club 37.
Yeah, you literally just said the original door. So why would they change the whole mystique around Club 33 because they moved the front door?
Yeah.
Bag of dirt? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How long were you
gosh.
members before you were terminated? 5 years, Scott says. 4 really good years. And then the last year when a new manager came in is when everything went south. After my incident, they took their full 30 days. I sent them my medical records. I emailed them multiple times. Well, I bet you did, Scott. I bet you did, brother. We didn't know we were going to be terminated. It was so out of nowhere. We get a letter in the mail that says terminated. Diana, first, the manager says, if you don't write an apology letter, I'll terminate you. Scott, it was like, but if you write an apology letter, I will be forgiven. And you wrote one, they said. Scott, I did, yeah. What did the check that night say in terms of how much you drank? Scott, we were there for a fantasy football draft. Imagine going to Club 1901 for your fantasy football draft.
Crazy.
The amount of elitism is insane. And so there's 15, 20 people on the tab. It was 2 bottles of wine. There were 2 beers. So I had 2 of the beers and I had a glass of wine between 12 and 3:30 p.m. It was 9:30 p.m. that I was found on the park bench. I was sitting on a bench and security were like, hey, can you stand up? I couldn't really stand up. I stood up.
So,
Hey, can you stand up? No, I can't, but I do it anyway. And then I kind of sat back down on the bench right away because severe vertigo is part of vestibular migraines. All I had in my pocket was my Club 33 card. So they called the club and reported me based on that.
that's all he had in his wallet?
Where was Diana during
What
all
else do you
this?
need when you're rich?
Yeah.
You don't
Yes.
carry money.
Diana, I was closing our check inside 1901. Security did not call me, and I am listed as in case of emergency in his phone. Did they know that? What are you talking about? They just called the last number that had called Scott. Luckily, it was one of our best friends. Imagine if it had been a business associate. My husband does so much work on his phone at 9:30 at night. Imagine if it was one of the top important people.
Jeez.
Okay, here we go. So this is what happened a couple of times the year before. Diana had been briefly suspended for using some salty language, a couple of F words. Diana, I don't know. I hope this is really interesting. I haven't checked the chat. I'm just reading this interview with these friggin' weirdos.
I'm fascinated
All right.
still.
Diana, my friend knocked over her drink with her sleeve. with her sleeve? How long is her sleeve? Is she a wizard? You mean her arm? And the waiter came up and she's like, may I get another mimosa? He is like, I can give you water or I can give you tea. After 5 minutes, I go, wait a minute. Did he just cut us off? And I went to talk to the manager who would not look at me. Finally, I leaned into him and I said, what the is going on? And he goes, that's it. Which is, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can see this whole situation.
Absolutely.
And yes, you're getting cut off.
Yes. Because, like, look, doesn't matter if your friend's sleeve was drinking or your friend was drinking. You knocked over a drink. Clearly, the waiter made a call. You do not lean into the manager and curse at them. You do not do that, bro. You hadn't been drinking? Diana, I had 2 glasses of wine. Everybody there knows I pour water in my wine. I'm not really drinking 2 glasses of wine. Everybody knows that. Believe me, I drink the best wine, but I put water in there. Everybody knows I had 2 glasses of wine. I'm not really drinking 2 glasses of wine. Everybody there knows. Everybody knows that. Believe me, when we were talking, we know we sound crazy. My friends talk about it. We're like, I know we all sound insane. You spent a great deal of money.
Not insane, just drunk.
Just drunk, yeah, exactly.
I drink 2 glasses of wine, but everybody knows I pour water in it. What is your problem? Bro, what is your deal?
It's still 2 glasses of wine.
It's still 2 glasses of wine. It doesn't matter if you dilute. If you take 15% alcohol if you pour a glass of wine, a serving of wine, and then you double that serving with water, it's still the same amount of alcohol in the glass. It's just cut with water. It doesn't. It's not. What are you doing? It's not the same.
Math.
You spent a great deal of money to be a member there, and I assume you get no refund. So is that it? Or you really miss being part of the club? Scott, it was 2 things. One is my integrity was impugned. Impugned? Thank you. Because now I'm the drunk in the park. And it's all the friendships that we have there. We're all going to Club 33, and we're like, we'll go do something else for a while. They feel guilty. We would feel guilty if the shoe was on the other foot. So they're not banned from the parks. They've been back to the parks twice. Hollywood Reporter, have you been back to the park? Scott, we have. Twice is all I can recall. You're not on trial, homie. If you don't know how many times you've been back to the park since then, whatever. And then Diana goes, we've gone 3 times. Jesus, dude. We've gone 3 times. We paid for the lightning pass. They didn't tell us how to use it. So we went on one ride and then everything was sold out for the day. I'm like, are you kidding me? And while we were there in line, Disneyland sold out. So we couldn't go to both parks. It wasn't any fun. Yeah. Once your elitist privileges get stripped and then you're just like every other schlub, you have to learn how to do stuff for yourself. You can't yell at anyone, curse at anyone to get them to tell you how to do stuff. Life sucks, doesn't it? Yeah.
This is very much a Karen and Chad.
Yeah, dude.
Like what? Wow.
So apparently, okay, it's actually over right now, but the Hollywood Reporter says, your Club 33 troubles began in 2017. Why did it take 7 years to go to trial? Scott, Disney got a summary judgment saying, basically, we're throwing this out. So we went to appeals court. Appellate court said you can't do that, so it got handed back down to lower court. Then COVID happened, and then the courts got shut down. Diana, we actually subpoenaed Rebel Wilson.
Oh, my God.
The reporter says, but she didn't take the stand. Scott, no. She probably should have.
Does she know how much we spent to do this?
Wow.
Does the millionaire actress know how much we spent at our golf club this year?
She probably should have.
Like, what this tells me the most, just this whole article, is like, this is why Walt didn't want alcohol at Disneyland.
Dude.
And also, this is why it's so expensive.
I know, bro.
Wow, good callback.
Yeah, like, these are the reasons. This couple is the reason for both of those things.
Yes. I don't understand.
Because people cannot handle themselves.
Yeah, you know what? Here, I'm turning this off. It's very much like I guess an allegory for our times, where if there's any problems in the parks, it's always going to be pinned on, I guess for lack of a better term, the lower class of people. working blue collar people, right? Oh, someone had too many Sierra Nevada torpedoes or whatever. But in 9 times out of 10, I bet it's people like this who like, but they can get out of it, right? They can talk their way out of it, or because they have enough money or they're entitled enough. Disney's going to just be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. That's fine.
Drag them back to Club 1901 and
something like that. I don't know. I'm actually surprised that this man got suspended, honestly, because it seems like just the thing that people like him get away with.
But they were that bad.
And I wonder, even if this was true, that he has the migraine, the vestibular migraine, or I would be willing to bet that company is looking for any reason to get them out.
Oh, yeah.
Because they seem like just annoying, pestering freaks.
Yes. Yeah.
They seem like problem guests.
Absolutely.
And they're like, well, they're not breaking contracts, so whatever, we got to get them out. And this is how they get them out.
My favorite part is that that's the only thing that was in his wallet.
He just had, the only thing on him was his Club 33 thing. So
no
it's like,
ID.
You don't need it. You have a Club 33 thing. You know what I mean? You're 60 years old. What are you going to do?
Marcel knows me.
Yeah. Go find Marcel.
Marcel, I need some waffles.
Gosh.
Marcel, waffle me.
I got to say, when you said Sierra Nevada torpedo, I like, it was like an instant, like I could taste it. Like, do they still make that? That was like such a good beer.
Yes, honey, they do.
Speaking of people who drink a lot.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I mentioned that specific beer is because for a while, that's all you could get in like DCA and like all the kiosks and stuff was like
really?
Sierra Nevada torpedoes everywhere. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I remember it. Like,
maybe.
That was a good beer. I haven't had it like probably 10 years.
I'll take your word for it. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. And I apologize if that was boring, but I loved it. I don't know,
was
man.
Fun.
I love reading interviews with people who don't realize what world they live in. Because that world is not anybody.
No.
They are not getting any sort of sympathy from most people who read this. They are going to be the villain no matter what. Because most people do not live that fantasy life of of elitism to be able to afford half of that level of comfort that these people have, and they're blowing it on spite, and it's insane.
And honestly, their lawyer, if they had one, which I assume that they did, was terrible to allow them to take this to jury. There is no jury on earth that's going to be sympathetic to these two.
No way, dude. No way.
He's just counting the cash.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's true.
Thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate it. Don't forget, check out our brand new show, The Buena Vista Boys. We're going to be doing that live on Twitch here on Saturday, but there's a whole mess of episodes you can go check out there anywhere and everywhere podcasts can be found. It's a good show if you like talking about old school Disney movies that you may not have seen. We do a great job running through the plot and talking a bunch of fun facts about them as well. So check it out. Buena Vista Boys everywhere. Out and available now. Anyway, until next time, everyone. We'll see you in the parks.